Hello, everybody. It's Wuzzup time, Bobby.
Yes,
it's time for Wuzzup.
And it's a beautiful day today.
So anyways,
Yeah.
we got a big thank you last week. Miss Carrie Ann, I happened to see her Saturday afternoon, and she was just roaring. She was chuckling to beat heck. And she doesn't look a day over 29.
That's what we like to do. We like to make people happy.
Make people happy. What's going on in the news this week, Bobby?
Right, dead center, front and center is the Pembroke Beach Pavilion.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm mad at Evan Houck. He stole our thunder because, folks, we got a great show coming up Saturday night. We had so much fun. We went down and we did the Pembroke Beach, the new pavilion down there. Yep. We shot a bunch of footage. Lara Sargent, the Parks and Director, was down there, did a great tour of the whole place.
You said it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous down there. Just the folks in Bristol should be so happy. And another thing, Clyde Pendleton, who's the chairman of the Parks, he did a nice talk about how it all came together. And then we were lucky enough to get Paul Lehman III, who was the building contractor on it, and got him to talk about it. Of course, his granddad was Gordon Benner, who was the Parks and Recreation Director for years.
The cool thing is, they said in the article here that they hired every single subcontractor was local except for one.
Except for one. That's great.
Yeah, you know, because that doesn't usually happen.
That doesn't happen very often. And they came in, came in on budget, and it's
$1 million.
Yeah, just a little under $1 million.
Yeah, and mostly private.
Mostly private. Yeah, they got one donation of $300,000, anonymous donation, and somebody who really could, of course. Good for them. Good for them.
And so we had a COVID hospitalization.
Yeah.
We've been
so blessed.
Larry, you look at the TV, and it's just unbelievable. Yesterday was the largest number of cases reported.
Yeah. And I don't know really, Bobby, if it's because we're testing more, and these cases might have already been there. Or we've actually got a spike because more
it's
people
a culmination of the time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we've been behind the curve of like the cities anyway. So
anyway, I'll tell you, Darcy North.
She got it down.
This Country Coach Charters, we have a fantastic business up there. They just got a whole bunch of new vehicles. Yeah. And I saw her at the store, and they had a record number of reservations for this summer. And it's really, really sad, as a lot of businesses are suffering. But anyway, so she's changed her parking lot into a drive-in.
Drive-in theater.
Yeah.
So Madonna Valley, they're going to celebrate the graduation with a parade and campus ceremony, which I want to throw this out. We're kind of putting the deal together. We're going to do over to Wiscasset on the Speedway, Bobby. I was telling you off camera earlier, where they're going to line the parents up facing the starters box, and then the students facing the infield, and they're gonna do their graduation ceremony that way.
Sounds fantastic.
Sounds good for the kids. Good deal.
How about this kid? Max McCool. Max McCool.
What a great name, Max McCool.
Yeah, I know Max. Anyway, I know his mother. So Max writes a letter to the teacher. Says, write a letter to somebody that you're thankful for because of the crisis and all this. So he writes a letter. It was before this, wasn't it? It was a blackout. It was a power outage.
Yeah.
So anyway, Max writes a letter that writes it to Central Maine Power and says, I'm really upset. I hope we can get our electricity on because I like cheeseburgers, right? So anyway, so the kid gets his, they get the power back. The kid, and so anyway, I guess a relative, an uncle or something, he works for Central Maine Power. They got a whole fleet of Central Maine Power guys there.
And brought him a bunch of hard hats, autographed
They brought him hard hats, and they deliver a gift certificate for a cheeseburger from King Ida's in a bucket truck. The guy drops the bucket truck and hands it to him. So,
what a cool little story. What a great name, Max McCool.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to Max. So anyway, the Cubbyhole Sports Pub. We forgot about that place. It's right down up from the Speedway.
Yeah, it's right down the street there.
They got. I don't think they did anything.
I don't think they did it intentionally.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the Jello shots here. Right?
Well, I don't think that's one of those things. They probably didn't think about it. They probably didn't think about it, and somebody had to rat them out because it said it was a complaint.
Yep.
Oh, God. GSB
anyway.
budget, they're down almost $400,000.
Yeah, I was telling Larry, Bremen, they're down 113,000, and Damariscotta is down. No, Damariscotta is down 2,000. But anyway, it's because of the number of students. So anyway, I think Damariscotta was the only town that was up. Bremen and Newcastle, their student population went down.
You know, Bobby, you have to wonder on these budgets. It must be so hard as a budget committee because this spring, they've certainly probably got more money left over because they've never used it for any athletics,
Right.
no field trips for school buses for kids, no fuel expenses. Of course, the student, I mean, the drivers and whatnot have been laid off, I'm sure. But how do you budget for the next year?
Well, I was saying you
There
really
should be some
you have to
surpluses
do you have to do for the number of kids. You have to do some investigative work. You got to figure out how many kids were born. And, you know,
Oh, yeah.
because in 5 years they're going to be in that school.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have those numbers, and that's they base it on. So that's some tough duty there. Some tough duty. Bad fire up there in Whitefield.
Really bad. And,
Yeah.
and the thing was, it was down a really narrow, skinny dirt road. And anyway, the fire had spread to the woods. And so anyway, the Whitefield fire chief, Scott Higgins, he said it was a real joint effort between, I don't know, Somerville,
Well,
Windsor.
get into the woods there.
Yeah.
They had to keep watching hot spots there.
Well, they had to bring water in.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
we talked about the drive-in.
We did?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's
Yeah. No memorial parade this year.
Yeah, so anyway,
I don't think those guys were practicing social distancing.
no, I don't think so. But anyway, they figure they survived the war, they'll survive this war too.
Big shout out to the people up there to Lincoln, healthy Lincoln County.
Yeah, you put that together quick.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just that's what I did, Bob. It was trucking business. It was no big deal. I was glad to help out, and man, it's super thanks to my buddy Jeff Payson over there in Waldeboro. I mean, he just snapped the fingers. I got your truck, Larry. Got your drive. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
You know, he picked up the cost for all that, and
You know, because they made the phone call to this woman, Jess, and Jess said yes. And if she didn't say yes, I mean, I gotta congratulate her. She said yes, and she didn't know what the heck she was going to do.
she didn't have a clue in that.
Yeah,
And that's
because in 2 minutes, the next phone call was going to be another yes.
Oh
so.
yeah, and a tip of the cap to the Get Her Done because Rosie and Sumner Richards down to Infernals, they were part of that deal, and the healthy. There was a bunch of people. There was a lot of food. People don't understand what 14 pallets of food.
Yeah.
It was a lot of food, and it's they've been up to the shop every day this week, siphoning it out.
And the cool thing is, it's non-perishable. So
Oh, it's all non-perishable, yeah.
so-
And it's good stuff. I looked at it. There's a lot of spaghetti sauces and orange juices and all kinds of things there. And so that's and the interesting part about that, there's another charge of food just like that up there at the Maine Department of Agriculture that they have to get rid of. Oh. It's crazy how much food that is
there's a nice little article here on this woman, Patricia Green, Pat Green. She's a resident at Schooner Cove. She's got quite a
resume, yeah.
Quite a resume.
I thought it was pretty interesting because
Yeah.
my wife works for Head Start. She did a lot of the initial
Programming.
Head Start programming,
Yeah, so anyway, the Wiscasset is, they've scheduled their town meeting.
Well, Bobby, the biggest news outside of graduation in Wiscasset is Red's Eats is opening.
They're going.
I mean, does anything else matter?
They're going for it.
They're going for it.
Debbie Gagnon, she, you know, in the off season, it said here, I didn't know she did, but she worked up at the Maine Health, Lincoln Health. So anyway, she's got all these protocols in order. She's going to have 6 foot, and she's going to, when people come into work, she's going to take their temperature. She's going to interview them.
Yeah.
Where were they the night before? She might not want to know. And so anyway, so
What are you saying, Bobby?
if somebody has a sore throat, they're going home.
So anyway, what are you saying?
So anyway, that's so May 30th. Things will be back to normal in Wisconsin.
They will be. The line will probably be as much as we thought the lines were long last year. Now you got to put 6 feet. They'll be over in Edgecombe
my
somewhere.
God.
They'll be over to Cod Cove watching the worm diggers there waiting for a hamburger
Yeah.
or a lobster roll. Oh shoot, Wisconsin.
This is interesting. They found the Wisconsin Police Department. They recovered 2 kayaks, and they believe they were stolen in Waldeboro, but the owner hasn't come forward yet. So anyway, they're looking for the owner to come forward to claim those. Julie's Greenhouse. She's a very cute, energetic woman. She's going to be open. She's going to be open now, and so anyway, she's a very, very nice lady. We've got some deanless students from University of New England here. We got 6 of them, and never think to go to that Mammy's Bakery.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's in Wiscasset. It's an Italian bakery. So
This guy over there in Waldorf pretty lucky. Sailboat will overturned to him
Well,
back cove. Yeah.
what saved him probably was the fact that he had a keel. It was about 5 feet tall.
Well, yeah.
So he could stand on the boat, hold on to the keel, and
Waldorf, they've canceled their Memorial Day parade.
yeah. And the other thing is, they had. Let's see, Waldeboro, they had contracted Spectrum to do Chapel Road.
Boy, they got a
about-
stink going on over that.
Yeah.
Between now, Central Maine's got to go in and run some wide, run the poles.
Yes.
And,
So anyway, that's all been delayed.
yeah.
So anyway,
And of course, Spectrum's in a big. We're trying to get Channel 7 back here at the LCTV, which it looks like the end of July that's going to happen. But Bobby, you wouldn't believe the emails going back between the lawyers, the judges, and I mean, I get caught because we're a member of the association. It's just crazy, crazy. And you know, speaking of Waldeboro, we're got a show coming up here the end of next week, I think it is, the old German Meeting House. We're going to do
that's a beautiful place.
Yeah, Miss Lawrence, Jean Lawrence, is going to take us on a tour of that.
The other thing is, if people are out, you're out cruising around looking for something to do. I just noticed it last week. The Waldeboro Historical Society, right there. You take a right at Moody's. They got the most beautiful display of flowers.
Yeah.
Right. 100 years old, established lilies, and rhododendrons.
Well,
all that
they're
stuff.
going to go down there. They're going to take us down, and we're going to do a shoot down there, the old German meeting house, and so that'll be fun. We hopefully have that on by next.
The other thing is going on in Waldeboro. A couple by the name of Alana Bailey and Michael Curley. They have proposed. They got, I guess it's 31 acres or something.
We'll make a camping area there.
Yeah, up at Orf's Corner, which is like a little out of the way. And so anyway, they got a 5-year plan, and so they've got their initial meeting with the planning board, and so they'll be meeting with them.
They want to do is a 7-year retirement plan for themselves.
Yep.
They got a planning board up there, and then new bylaws. They got positive feedback. New draft of the Alna Planning Board bylaws.
Well, what it has to do with is a lot of, they got this project going on. This guy, Jeff Spinney, is got a project going on. He wants to put a big dock and float in the Sheepscot River and have kayaks and all this stuff. But Jeff is the husband of the first selectman, is Heather Spinney, I believe her name is. Is it Heather?
I think you're right.
Yep. So anyway, they're changing some bylaws. Has to do with conflict of interest and things like that. And boy, they had quite a run-in over there in Dresden. This guy,
didn't they?
Frank Foss Jr. He was living in a tool shed, and he was formerly a Milo, and he was a convicted felon, shouldn't have had a gun. He had a whole bunch of guns.
Yeah. Bristol Selectmen, they've set the tax rate at 7.25. That's less than half of Damascotta's, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's going to save some people some money.
Anyway, the Bremen reschedules their town meeting, and it's going to take place on June 20th. The other cool thing is the Lincoln County News is going to publish supplements. It's going to be a separate magazine
for
the graduations. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
That's cool stuff.
Yep. And CLC, YMCA, they had a reopening. There was they're making a correction now. They're going to be May 19th? No, June 1st.
That's when
June... No, they're not going to be able to open on June 1st.
No.
So anyway, it's got to be.
I don't know when. They didn't say when. A couple of weeks, didn't they? They're going to postpone it a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're going to have to. We're going to have to wait for notification. You know, everything changes every day.
It does.
You never know.
Well, there's so much uncertainty, Bobby, with this whole coronavirus. Nobody knows what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the governor of Maine and the governor of Vermont are kind of in cahoots.
Together?
Yeah, kind of setting separate, same laws.
Yeah. And I'll say, if anybody's looking for trucking in America, Bobby, he's on vacation.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's taking a hiatus from his newspaper career for the time being.
Yeah, he's got a cramp in his finger.
Well, my friend Judy called me and she says, I went through this paper 3 times and I couldn't find your column. Where is it? And I said, it ain't.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The Glenn Chadbourne's got a picture of a young lady gardening. I know I've been doing a lot of gardening. I love gardening.
I have a young lady at home, my wife, that's been doing some gardening, and she has big plans for this weekend. So sounds like the weather's going to cooperate.
A lot of letters, some people saying that wear your mask when you're going into a public place, and so...
Maine Principals Association are going to offer esports competitions. I don't know if that's
right.
I don't know enough
sad
about
news that Grace Goldberg, she owns the Save Remain. She's decided to
stay closed.
She's going to stay. She's going to. I think she's going to open for a little while, but she's
well,
like
close. You can eat on the back deck. You can't eat inside the building.
She's going to close at the end of the summer. And Maryborough, this is this lady that's opened this learning center. They're going virtual. They got it all figured out. They're going to have summer offerings, and
Marilyn Bean, she's still pumping out God bless her. 3,000 plus words there, 1,500, 1,800 words probably.
I'll tell you, if medical students had to go virtual, they could read Marilyn Bean. They could read Marilyn Bean's article and get totally educated on every medical procedure.
Tip the hat to Lydia Craftboy. She's working hard to.
She is. She's busy.
She's busy.
Yep.
She's busy. She wants to be in Augusta.
Yep. And
Edgewood Selectmen, they want to rewrite that teacher's contract.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see how that's going to go.
That's going to. I got my own opinions. I guess I'll keep them myself.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hard one for them.
They're basically asking the teachers at the Edge Community School to cut their salary.
Yeah. They'll lose some teachers over it.
Yep.
And what a line! I had to go to one of those big box stores. I didn't want to, but I had some electrical supplies last Sunday. The line outside of Moose Crossing Garden Center, Bobby, it was way back to the further greenhouse.
It's not
way down in the back 40 there.
I give the Lupians credit. They're hard workers, but I'll tell you, it's not fun to go up there. It's like, you remember the days you just browse through the greenhouse?
Yeah. You feel like I felt that way in the big box store. I had to wait to get in, and you feel like I'm taking somebody else's time in here.
Yeah, another resignation. Lincoln County Board of Commissioners, they announced the acceptance of the resignation of Lincoln County Planner Ellsworth Strasburger.
Yeah.
Oh, there, less than a year.
Yeah, she wasn't there long.
Yeah.
She started last August.
Yep. The Rand Maker gave a report that the population is being kept down because of COVID-19. I mean, they only have 68 inmates.
And they only got 9 from Lincoln County. So they're all the inmates are from some other counties.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the deal with the jails. They got to bring them in from other counties.
Yeah, I guess.
They're going to be 100% occupancy.
I thought that was pretty interesting about the kids there. They're learning the effects of tobacco use, and they created some art and whatnot to go with it.
Yeah.
Educate him. Tim Gold's good for him.
Yeah, that's a good program they got there.
And the governor, she's extended the state of emergency for another month.
What was this article? We get these Bangor Daily News articles, that Maine State Police supposedly illegal gathered and handled personal data about Mainers.
Well, it's a whistleblower. Some cop thought that they were doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Evidently, that's what I got out of it, Bobby.
So, anyway, the Maine marks an invasive species awareness week. We got all kinds of, for instance, an emerald ash borer. Can devastate a forest. How's a brown-tailed moss? Any report?
No, not yet.
No.
Well, a leaf out is a couple of weeks late this year. I saw that on the news this morning. I knew it was, as you know, too. Yeah. And so I'm wondering, we had an extremely cold April, a wet cold April, and that's one thing that they don't like. So maybe that infestation won't be quite as bad this year, hopefully. There's some pictures of the parks and recreation. Now, folks, don't forget Saturday night, 7 o'clock. You can see this whole virtual show that we did down there. It was just, and we had 2 gorgeous days of shooting down there. It's just.
Yeah, we got some great weather coming up, and Pembroke Point Lighthouse is going to be open today.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah,
May 21st.
yeah.
So anyway, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the Lehmans. No, I'm sure they're related to the builder of the Pembroke Beach Pavilion. But anyway, the Heather Lehmans and her daughter Norma are going to run the New Harbor ice cream.
Which I
stand.
can't help but think she must be a granddaughter of Norma Lehman.
Correct.
That's why, Norma Lehman worked at First National for years before you moved here, Bobby.
Yep.
That would have been Paul Lehman III, who built the pavilion's great-grandmother.
Yep, that's right. And that's Norma Lehman is Chris Lehman's daughter.
Okay.
And Heather Lehman is Chris Lehman's wife.
Okay.
So anyway, they're down there in Lehmanville.
Down in Lehmanville.
And they're going to do all kinds of renovations to the ice cream store.
That's a great little ice cream stop. I hit it up almost every time in the summertime. I hit the Bristol.
Well, they have one thing that Giffords has, and I'm a specialist when it comes to ice cream, is at the stand.
You're an ice cream specialist?
Yeah. You can't.
You just wear so many hats, Mom.
You cannot get this flavor. It's called Chocolate Lovers Chocolate. You can't get it in the supermarket. You can only get it at an ice cream stand. And so anyway, if you're a chocolate lover, go down there and check it out.
Anyway, Bobby now has a new title. He is a chocolate ice cream expert.
Yeah, I'll take it.
The
cool
first, stuff.
The old mill. They got that old mill down there that the Twin Rivers took over, and so anyway, they hired their first contractor, Gartley and Dorsey Engineering. They went underneath the building. And they said it's a fantastic old building, but he says it's all shifted. And so anyway, they're going to recommend, they actually took a guy with them, and who's a specialist at this kind of stuff. His name is Ed Blakelock of Woolwich, and he's a prospective contractor. But they had George Parker with them. He's an architect. Roger Panic. He's a very knowledgeable man. And so anyway, they
just need some re-support.
Yeah.
It's a good, stable building.
Another incredible project by the local people here. It's just unbelievable. And I'm sure they're going to have an incredible finished product.
That's kind of sad. Lincoln Little League, they've canceled their season this year.
Yeah, the poor coach of the Madomic Valley girls tennis team, she had 5 seniors. She said that this was going to be her year.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Booth Bay Harbor Country Club, they're opening 100th season. 100 seasons.
I know. I didn't realize they'd been down there that long. Of course, that's a world-class golf course.
Well, now it looks a little different than it did 100 years ago.
It did.
Can you imagine a guy that played there 100 years ago get reincarnated, and they brought him to this, and he would say, "This isn't the Booth Bay Country
Well,
Club."
how about some fellow who's in his late 80s who's still able to play a little golf? Might have grew up in Booth Bay as a kid, hasn't been here for 60 or 70 years, and coming back and seeing this thing.
Another neat non-private group is the Hidden Valley Nature Center. They got they're promoting trail running up there. They got all kinds of trails up there.
I didn't realize they had a nature trail in Waldeboro named after Neil Lash over there.
Yeah,
that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
They do.
That's pretty cool.
Coastal Kids Preschool, they're going to reopen in June, and the Coastal Rivers Conservation Trust, they're going to take their education classes online.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Paula Roberts' article. What does a sports reporter do when there's no sports? Well, I can tell you, my son's a sports reporter for WABI Bangor, and he's doing news stories.
Yeah.
And he's actually enjoying it. I've talked to him about
Well,
he's
that's
had
good experience for him.
neat stories, yeah.
And we can't get away from the Lehman family. Scott and Jenny Lehman of Round Pond. Now we gotta bring in
we gotta have a Lehman expert. We need a Lehman expert.
Lehman family tree.
So anyway, we need a Lehman expert now.
Yeah, so anyway,
Folks, Karen Ann can help us out with that.
Mary M. Lehman is a graduate of University of Buffalo, and she's now a doctor.
Wow, good stuff.
The So we'll wrap it up. We got
Okay, we got to tell folks what we're going to do next week, Bobby. This is going to be cool.
Next week.
We're going to we're road tripping next week.
We're road tripping next weekend. We're going to my neighborhood. You're going to get to see the new renovations up at the Damascotta Mills Fish Ladder. Hopefully, you'll see tons of fish. We'll talk to Mark Becker, Richard Powell, Kurt Ohm, and we'll talk to some lobstermen who'll be buying some bait. And what's up? Many years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
we did a show there.
That's what you made Wuzzup famous for, road tripping.
Yeah, we did a show up there. It's one of the best shows.
We ought to we get into the summer season. We ought to dig out some of those old shows. Yeah. But for the time being, that's it for this week, folks.
Yep,
He's
done.
Bobby Weir. I'm Larry Seidling and Dave Swen, the gang behind the camera. LCTV, we say, don't forget, we got Saturday night. We got a great trip down to the Pemquid Beach there. We had a lot of fun down there.
Don't even have to leave your house.
No, just sit there and you can go to the beach Saturday night. So for Larry Seidling and Bobby Weir, we'll see you back here next week for What's Up. Next time, folks.